Alright, welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 2 of the music director series. In the first part we had a look at the general question, what is a music director, what is the purpose of a music director, and also, very importantly, what is not a music director, and we established that a music director shouldn't be thought of like a boss of the worship team or boss of a band, but more like a help. And in today's video we are going to have a look at how exactly the music director can help the team. What can you do? And I'm also going to include a lot of examples. These are going to be examples from a recent church service from our church, and you're going to hear me music directing. The music directing will be in German, but I will include also English subtitles. Now, the first obvious way a music director can help the team is by providing cues or guides. For example, saying chorus or verse or giving context where the band is in the song. Now, if you're playing with a backing track, a multi-track, chances are you have a guide track or a cue track that's giving automated cues. And you might ask the question, if you have that, do you even need a music director giving additional cues? And the first answer to that question would be, maybe you don't need it. Now, if you're not playing with a backing track or a guide track, maybe you don't do it at all, or you have a certain song in your set list that has no backing track, then giving cues, giving call-outs can be a great help to the band. But also, if you play with a backing track, giving additional call-outs can sometimes be helpful. For example, if a certain call-out is just too late, or it would be helpful for the band to have a call-out earlier, to be reminded of what's about to come, a music director can give this additional call-out beforehand, and by that make everyone aware of what's about to come. Another reason this can be helpful is if cues are drowned out by the volume or in the middle of the action, the heat of the action. Sometimes these cues get like drowned out, or you can't hear them as clearly without making them super loud in your headphones. Also, these cues are typically exactly at the one of a bar, so that's maybe where a big crash or the kick drum hits, and in that moment that cue might not be audible as well. So you can give additional help by just giving an additional call out. And in certain situations it can even happen that a cue is simply wrong. I've encountered that once with a backing track recently, where a cue was simply wrong in the backing track. It can also happen if you cut out a section of a backing track and you don't adjust the cue, because the cue always happens in the part before. So if you do that and it's not edited properly, you can have the wrong call out. And in that kind of situation, it is super helpful for the team if you, before that happens, give the correct call out so everyone knows where you are in the song. So let's have a listen at a quick example. We are going to hear the song That's the Power by Hillsong, and you are going to hear me giving some call outs.
Some turnaround.
Turnaround. All in.
Strophe.
Verse 3.
Now, another way a music director can help the team is by calling out count-ins or measures in a bar. So like bridge, 2, 3, 4, something like that. That helps establish the beat, establish the right kind of feeling for where we are in the beat, where we are in the bar. And it can help prevent getting off the metronome or getting too fast or too slow. Just help establish that beat. And it also raises awareness for like an entry point. If you have one point where the drums come in or the whole band comes in strongly, counting into that point can be really helpful. So next you're going to hear an example of a German song, and I'm going to count in to the bridge.
Bridge.
2, 3, 4.
Also, like I just said, the music director can be helpful to remember everyone of points of entry in certain sections. So we are going to have a look at an example from that same German song. At the start of the second verse, there's a short breakdown, and then the whole band and most importantly, the drums come in again. And you will hear me giving an additional hint to remember everyone of this point of entry.
Verse.
Einsatz. 2, 3, 4.
Now, another way a music director can help provide context or be a help to the team is by calling out dynamics, giving dynamic cues. So I'm just going to give you 2 examples from the song Here Again by Elevation Worship. So the first example will be right before the second chorus. That's a point where the whole band comes in a bit more strongly, and I'm going to point that out via my microphone.
Vamp.
Zum Chorus.
Chorus.
Ein bisschen kräftiger. 3, 4.
Now the second example will also be from the song Here Again, and right before the final bridge I will say strongly, or stark in German, to remind everyone that this is the final bridge where you should really go like full power, give everything. Have a listen.
Nochmal die Bridge.
Bridge.
Stark.
All in.
Now, before we continue, I want to give a quick disclaimer. If you are a music director or you have been working with music directors before and you listen to some of these examples and you think to yourself, that's not how you would do it, or that's not how I would typically recommend doing it. These are just my recommendations. Probably everyone does music directing a little bit differently or approaches it from a little bit different perspective. I've just tried to assemble kind of the best tips or strategies from my point of view. It's not meant to be comprehensive or decisive, and I'm not meaning to say this is the only way you can do it. Music directing also depends heavily on the context, on the people you work with, on your musical taste, your genre. So just keep in mind, these are examples. This is not meant to be like that's the only way you can do it. So having said that, let's have a look at some more examples of how you can help your team as a music director. So one thing that can be really helpful is giving guidance in critical situations. So critical situations could be, for example, parts of the song where you already notice while practicing, while rehearsing, that that section or that one entry, it always goes wrong, or you practice it 5 times before it finally is happening the right way. So if you have something like that, giving additional guidance in that situation can be worth a lot. Also, sometimes you have situations where you have like a little extra bar or a special moment in the flow of the song. One example of that is also in the song Here Again, and that is right before the chorus, when you go from, for example, the first verse into the chorus, there's an extra bar. So in this example, you are going to hear me say hold or halten in German to indicate that there's an extra bar, and I will count that in.
Vamp.
Halten.
Chorus.
2, 3 und
Another situation where you can be really helpful as a music director is in transitions between songs. So that really depends on your situation, your band, your service, how you typically do things. If you have like a moment of free flow or you're trying to do it really smoothly, in that situation, as a music director, you could, for example, call out chords to play or give instructions to individual instruments on who should play or who should play what. That depends on your situation. If you have everything automated with backing tracks, for example, you probably don't need that. Or if you have someone talking in between songs and you have like a really talented keyboard player, for example, who will just do everything on their own anyways, then you don't really need to do additional callouts. I don't have an example of a situation like that right now, but you can probably imagine that in transitions between songs you could really use a music director in certain situations. Now, one other thing you could do as a music director is at the start of a worship set, you can give like a count in or just raise general awareness. I can show you an example from our church service where we have a countdown, and when the countdown is like at 1 minute, I call out 1 minute just to make everybody aware that service is about to start.
1 Minute.
And I'm also going to call out track right before the moment that the track should be launched. Now, the guy launching the track in that situation was perfectly aware of what was happening. I was just reinforcing that or giving additional security by calling out track.
Track.
Alles tanzt. 2. Verse. 2, 3, 4.
And obviously, a music director can be a great help in free flow situations where you're worshiping freely or just playing musically chord progressions. When you're playing with a moderator or someone who is praying or talking, if your pastor comes up on stage or something like that, and you're playing behind that, a music director can be a great help in that situation because you kind of need to be able to react spontaneously to the situation. So the music director can, for example, say what chord progression should be played, if it should be a chord progression of the song.
Weiter Akkorde vom Refrain.
Outro.
Chords of the chorus.
I even sometimes sing a little bit of the melody. Like, for example, I say we play the chords of the chorus and then I will just sing the first line of the chorus just to make everyone remember and be aware of what the chorus would typically sound like and where we are in that progression. That singing doesn't need to sound beautiful. I don't need to have my voice warmed up. It's just on the headphones of the worship band anyways. And it's just to raise awareness, just to make everybody understand and be aware of where we are in that chord progression. Alright, so these were some examples of how you as a music director can be a help to your team, give context, give situational awareness, and help communicating, help bring everybody on the same page. I hope this was helpful to you. If you liked this video, make sure to press the like button down below. In the next video, we are going to talk about some practical tips for preparation, for the right kind of mindset and the right way to interact with the team. So if you're interested in that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day out there and I hope to see all of you in the next one. Bye!